established.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Mr. B here, and it's such a beautiful day here, I tell you that now. It's a warm day. I've got the fan on in the studio, keep myself cool. And, well, I've got some, usual guys are on today. And first of all, I like to bring in our adventurer come Mr. Jim. Good morning to you there, Jim. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Good to be here as usual. This is my Saturday night fling with the crew.
Yeah, notice you've got your Belize background going on there behind it. That's nice, mate.
That little thing right there is 2,000, maybe 20,000 years old.
Okay. Now, listen, I'll just bring in another person at the moment, and here we go. And Mr. Gerald from the Midwest Night Watchers. How are you, Gerald?
Good. How are you guys?
All right, mate. It's it's happening to you again, buddy. Your microphone's playing up. Yeah, never mind. Hey, it's all good, buddy. It's all good. And then I'll bring Mr. Bauer in. How you going there, Professor?
Doing well, gentlemen. It's good to be among legends.
Yeah. More or less, right?
Well, as long as there's no kind of wanted sign on you, that's the important thing.
Well, we are, I think we referred to it earlier, and we are definitely a league of extraordinary gentlemen. There is something unique and different about each one of us to the point where we're actually kind of totally opposite, but totally the same.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, one of the awesome things to come to. You have to be around a while to realize that that's a way that things are. And when you find others to be like that with, I guess.
Oh, I like that.
Then there you go.
What you're actually saying is, we're different, but we're all sick in the head, right? That's what you're basically getting down to.
Well, it kind of, that works.
Yeah.
And hello, everybody in the chat there. Welcome with us. G'day there, Joyce, and hope you're good. And Roger Blair, how are you going, mate? And Jay Fritz, how are you? And Anne, how you going? And Susan Alloway, and mate, and Jay. G'day, Jane. How are you, sweetheart? Hey, keeping an eye on the old man, I see, huh? Yeah, we'll look after him. Don't you worry. Yes, and hey, anyway, and hi there, Joyce. Nice to have you there, buddy. Anyway, yes, so everybody's here so far, and so what you been up to there, Robert, lately? If you might, while you're on the screen there, what's
I get to go first. That never happened.
Oh yeah, well, hold it. Really, we should put you last because we can't stop you from bloody talking when you start. Oh, I know,
well,
no, but listen, we'll give you the house. We'll give you take the microphone for a while, mate. Just take the microphone.
I do come with a warning label, okay? So that's just, if you want to get canceled, hang around. If you want to get labeled something that you're not, that's nefarious and otherwise, stick around.
Mm-hmm.
So what have I been up to? So I have been doing a lot of work getting the Nexus show ready, playing with technologies and different platforms. It looks like I'm going to try this Riverside FM to do the shows with, because of the built-in tools as well as the incredible video and audio are pretty hard to beat.
Are they good to traffic? Is it good to traffic your way through it with all those tools? You know what I mean? Because sometimes you've got to get a manual out to kind of say, what do I have to do here? Is it quite if it's quite simple to follow? It's
well, it all depends on what you're bringing to the task, right? So for me, I've been in tech for 40 years. I've built software and systems. In fact, that up at the top there that you can't see, but that's my award for beating IBM back in '93.
Sweet.
I beat them at their own game. But to your point, I've played with enough of it that for me, I might go look at a video from somebody who's gone through the setup and said, here's how to make sure to do this, this, and this. But outside of that, I want to go in and play with it. If it's not intuitive enough or laid out well enough to figure out what it is you want to do with the terminology that's needed, you've got different things that you have to think about when you're doing images and you're cropping and you have gammas and all these other things that you don't have with audio, right? So every one of them have their own little unique function sets that you've got to figure out so that you can navigate them. But to your point, there's so much of it out there right now. There is a plethora of stuff and new terms and people respinning this and respinning that, and everything from the society to the technology and the infrastructure, the systems, the bureaucracies, all that shit, as I've droned on about before, is broken. And none of it can be fixed. It has to be replaced. So there's a lot of replacement tools that are available now, and energy, water, all the things that we will be using in the future are available now.
Well, I've noticed too, Robert, that the new tech that's coming out, all this new AI programs coming out. The internet seems to be flooding with them at the moment. You've got this one called human something, whatever it is, and then you've got
transhumanism.
Yeah, and then you've got in video AI, and you've got all these other ones, and they're taking all the hard work out of it, but they are very expensive. And this is what people have got to understand. I mean, it's not for the faint-hearted if you're counting your dollars and cents. You know what I mean? So they are expensive.
Well, I think what we're seeing actually is not unlike what we saw in the early 2000s with the .com bomb.
Right.
So what I mean by that is that all of the oxygen and the nitrogen, for that matter, that we depend on more than oxygen, all of it's being sucked out of the airways in the conversation with all this propped up, conjured, crafted, and curated crap. And the fear of AI is been used because fear is, it's the greatest persuader, motivator for humans that we experience is fear. And fear we attach to all kinds of different things incorrectly, which is a separate rabbit hole that the shiny object will be let go in.
Yeah.
But the point about AI is simple. All it does, it's entirely based on the words that are available. That's all. Now there's new work that's being done to capture the light spectrum, which is not what's happening when you go to Leonardo or Artflow or any of these current image generators. The entire construct of the way that a large language model, which is what the question that you put into it, there's a system, it's called, it's the prompt scripting language. The prompt scripting language is based on natural language programming. The whole construct there is that there are certain words that are keywords, and you go pick them out, and then you go scan the large language models for those words and a certain number of words around them in some kind of context, and then it returns that information. That's all it does. It doesn't think to do that. It can't think to do that. Cognition, mentition, our consciousness all requires an organic host. Everything that we look at, in fact, for our recorded history, other civilizations in their cosmology said that everything was alive. Not only the plants and the animals and the trees and all of that, but the earth the moon, the sun, the solar system, the galaxy, and ultimately the cosmos. Everything was looked at. Plato, all the Greeks, everything their whole model was kind of what's being run around today known as idealism, which is that everything comes from consciousness, which is what my model of informatica does, but in a slightly different way. So the realization that everything is actually alive, or anything that has anything what we would consider to be a life, is organic. And that's how it works. It functions in that way. You can't make hardware and software organic. So there will never be the components of consciousness, intuition, inspiration, curiosity,
Gut feeling.
introspection.
Yeah.
None of that stuff is available because we don't understand it. We can't define it. And you certainly can't program it. So the AI stuff is a bunch of hype, hyperbole, sex, sizzle, and muss and fuss. And the reality of it is that they are expert systems. And that's where the cool shit is. AI is the model of what you can do and program to get information sorted in a certain way. And this goes to programming. AI systems there's a number of articles out recently about the end of the programmer, because you can just tell the AI to go write this program in this language to do this thing, and it does it. You go in and you clean it up a little bit, and you've just saved a boatload of time. The best AI implementation, I think, of what we're seeing is the true potential is, oddly enough, in Microsoft, in their what they call their Office suite. So those of us that have been using that, I've been using it for 30 years or more since it came out. It's Outlook with your email, Word with your word processing, PowerPoint for presentations, Excel for spreadsheets, and it's all in a homogenized suite of different tools that are all individually expert systems. Well, Microsoft came out with this thing called Copilot, and it's their AI. What is that? What does it do? Well, if you're using the Office suite and you've got emails, documents, videos, graphics, spreadsheets that are on a certain subject, it will go out and summarize all that shit for you and then give you links. And then you can ask it to make suggestions on this particular piece of that. That is sweet shit. It's becoming more of the kind of things that we see in the Star Trek movies and series, and even in the Marvel stuff. The ability, what these guys are doing with the holographic display of information and the interaction with that data, that's where the AI, I think, is going to end up being its most useful, and oddly enough, where we'll be able to control it from. Because the whole idea of it having intent, you can program a direction. You can say, for example, when like an iRobot, right? If you haven't seen that movie with Will Smith, extremely good, a lot of good data points in there. And when you look at the idea of it becoming aware, the guy programmed an intent for it to go chase itself. So it's not an intent as it is a direction. Go in this direction. Whatever you do with the information that you find along the way, keep it going in this direction. That can't account for the variables of the experience that we have as humans. Our consciousness is taking all kinds of sensory and data points in at every second of every nanosecond of every second. So we're constantly, we're in a field, in a reality of energy and frequencies that we just happen to be humming in. We're vibing in. We're in this place where our individual expression and energy is because of the environment we're in, and we're interacting with it. Wow, holy cow. What is that all about?
Yes, it's definitely still jumping forward, isn't it? The only thing I have against the only thing I have against Microsoft, mate, is how they changed their billing. One time you could buy it, you own it, and now it's yearly, and they keep putting up the bloody price. But they're not really changed. I mean, much as they've changed a lot of things, to me, it's it's not significant enough for what you're paying for, these days. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, people like you and I, where if you're using it all the time, yes, it's a handy tool. And I know they give it free, virtually free to students. I know that. If you're a student, they allow you to use it free of charge, as long as you can prove that you're at university or you're studying and you need it for your assignments, which I think is good. But there are people that they've only got email and they need assistance for doing things. And I think it's a bit rough when they charge them $129 a year just to use Office. When I remember a time you could buy the damn thing for $30 on a CD. Boom, all done. Complete package,
There are clones out there that are free, and I think it's called Office. Office. Can't think of what it's Office something, but it does all the same thing that the Office suite does, and it's free. And there's all kinds of. You remember when, just as an example of how things can fall apart unexpectedly when you think you got the latest shit. And you remember Google when they came out with all that what they called it, Google Plus, and
yes.
they had all those tools in there. They took all of the Google shit, and you had mail, which now is in a nice interface, and you had Google Sheets, all this shit, and it all flopped because it was all crap. It didn't work worth a shit. And then they've gone through a couple of iterations with things like that in releasing products. But the most recent one was their AI. Talking about the AI, they released Gemini. And big
joke.
A whole hoopla going on around that, right? Just watch this. And when all people did is said, well, draw me a historical Civil War image, give it the whole historical thing. And it came back with all black soldiers. They asked it to give us a contemporary potential popes, and it came back with black popes that didn't look anything like you would think, right? Then they asked him to do it was another one back in the 1800s, but every one of them was a complete flop. If they asked for it was the Nazis. That's what it was. Said, should give us a picture of Nazis, and they had a bunch of black Nazis in there. And you're going, did somebody huge see this, or did you just throw it out there and hope for the best?
Hold it out of their butt.
It would have upset a lot of people, that's for sure. Pretty sure. I mean,
well, what that demonstrates is the importance of the programmer.
Yeah.
Those things did that because they were programmed to do it. That's where the limitations of AI is. It's all at the behest of whoever's programmed it, whatever preferences, biases, peccadillos, whatever. Yeah. They programmed that in there. I mean, ChatGPT 3, I think it was 3.5, they did the experiment with, all right, give me Biden's greatest hits. Came back with a fucking tome of just mumble bumble, but just a whole bunch of shit. And then it turned around and said, all right, give us Trump's greatest hits. And it came back and said, we're sorry, we cannot do a search on a topic or individual of such controversial nature. It's like, okay, so what you're saying is that if you're saying that you are providing access to all of the information and knowledge through this semi-intelligent thing that will go find it for you, you're telling us that that's what you're giving us, yet you can't do this. And not only you can't do this, you are clearly programmed not to do this. So fortunately, there's a number of companies out there that are going down the open AI path. That's where Musk is with Grok. The open AI will be a system that you'll be able to program yourself. So the technology of the natural language programming and the prompt scripting will be something you can configure. You can say only, be diverse and be full of equity and inclusion. Or you can leave that out and you can go get the real stuff, right? So that's where I think this AI thing is heading. There's going to be a universal construct in some sense that will allow you to have the framework of the ability to craft the search, and then you'll be able to point it to whatever data you want. It's like what I was saying with Copilot. Copilot is just, it's an expert that's designed to scan you all your systems of all the shit that you just asked it for. And it just happens to be in a suite that's all built by the same people.
Yeah.
So the integration, to be able to look for the data and all that stuff, you already know how to do that. It's built in.
Yeah, and you can guarantee it's all going to be censored too.
Well,
yeah.
the thing is, I think it's going to be funny.
I was saying it.
I think it'll be funny when people find out that they censored themselves and they don't even know it.
Yeah. Anyway, let's have Gerald. And what's new with you today, mate?
Well, first of all, how's my mic?
All right at the moment.
Okay.
Oh yeah, sounds great.
I really like that beard, Gerald. I really like that beard of yours. Oh,
it'll be gone in spring.
What? Nah.
Yeah. Come on. Every year I shave it off for spring and start it all over.
You totally shave it off? Or what? Or just
almost down to stubble.
Oh,
wait a minute. Are you saying that's only a year's growth?
Yeah, less than a year.
God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It would take me 20 years to grow that much.
I couldn't grow a beard
like years ago. I mean, that would be awesome, but I got.
Elder, what were you saying, Jim?
I couldn't grow a beard if my life depended on it.
Yeah, it takes a man to grow one, mate. Anyway.
Hey, when I was in basic training, I didn't even put a blade in my razor.
Did you really?
I had peach fuzz. I mean, I was a real baby face. Hell, I got asked for my IDs up until my late 30s, and then all of a sudden, age hit me, and
yeah. Hey, when I was in the army, every morning the sergeant would walk in. I want to see your bed box. You know, like when you make up your blankets and everything, and you got your sheets have got stripes on it, your blankets have got stripes on it, and you've got to fold it all in a way that all the stripes line up with each other. And then you have your tin cup next to that, your knife and fork, and your razor blade open one end. And he'll go through and says, "Okay, where's your razor blade?" And I says, "Oh, it's stuck." He says, "You've got to have a razor blade in it." He says, "How can I check your razor blade if there's no razor blade in it?" He says, "I want to check to make sure the razor." See, I have to look at it. You see, if you wash the razor blade properly and it's polished, and then you put the razor blade back in it, and when he picks it up, you can inspect it and say, and he kind of holds it up to the light, and you see the shimmer over it. Make sure there's no soap marks on the actual blade. They're a real mongrel, mate. They're real mongrels, I'll tell you. Yes, nice. And I used to get into trouble all the time. They used to send me to the firing range because of that, sipping out bullets out of the sand pits. Yeah. Yes. But anyway, carry on, Gerald. Sorry, mate. I mean, my rudeness. I got sidetracked there, mate. So what's happening? What's happening?
Been busy here with the animals and getting our We're going to get our cameras resituated the way we want them. We're going to move some around in the backyard, and we've just been busy having guests on our shows. I mean, it's a full-time job just doing all this stuff.
Hey, I got into trouble yesterday. Right, we've just had brand new security cameras put in around our home. My daughter put them in, right, and they drink low-fat milk. I drink full cream milk, right? And of course, I always have my milk there. They that's their prerogative. They drink that crap. I'll drink mine, you know. And I got up last night and I went through. I picked up the bottle, right? And I went, "This is my milk." Right? So and they turned around and said, "I got an email, Dad. Can you please use a glass? We bought that milk the other day." And I says, "It's a blue top. Dark blue top. You don't drink blue top. I bought some milk. No, it's ours. We bought it a few days ago." And I thought, nobody's touched it. There's a bottle in the bottom of the fridge, but you couldn't see the top of it. And I got into trouble. They're spying on me now. you know, but security. Hey, there's a bit of, hey, my bottle, it's my milk, so I thought, you know, I mean, I wouldn't do it to any other bottle, you know what I mean? I mean, that's one of those things. So I thought, oh, okay. Yeah. So when they stopped buying bloody green top, you know, low fat, hot, you know, milk, you know, I mean, always just what they always do. I every time they go shopping, I get me some full cream milk, and they get green milk, green tops for themselves. And I got busted yesterday because they reckon that's how I thought, oh, so that's talking about security cameras, right? So we got 5 cameras outside and 1 in the family room, and it looks across. You can actually see the fridge. So yes, but I'm going to buy my own camera soon, and I'm going to put it outside. I'm going to focus it on the stars for sure.
Yeah,
you know, that's what I'll be doing. There's one I looked at. It's only 24 megapixel, but it's a 4K resolution. So, but I was actually talking to the security guy, and he says, "Yeah, but they're only as good as the internet you've got, because they all work Wi-Fi regardless, right?"
Mm-hmm.
He says, "So if you haven't got the internet speed, it won't be. It should be more like 12K."
Okay.
Yeah, on transmission. Yeah, so it's, okay.
I'm not sure that there's that many opportunities and people that should be in that high definition. I'm thinking that could be detrimental to.
Well, let's put this way. I'm running this show on 700.
Can you imagine you right now in 12K?
Huh?
Can you imagine you right now in 12K?
Oh,
I'll be a handsome bugger, mate. No. Yeah. Hey, you'd be able to see all my Goldilocks. You know, look at that.
See that's the kind of stuff that the people want to see. And
yes,
they want to see it. They want to see it in high def because they don't want any of this. You know, have you noticed the how many? Let me ask you this. I'll throw this out to the distinguished gentleman here. Have you noticed a change in the amount of things that you see and questioning whether you think they're real or not?
Yes.
Has that increased?
Yeah.
Are we talking about transvestites or?
I'm talking about all of it.
Is that real or not?
I mean,
I'm talking about all of it.
There's a milk commercial that has some kid drinking, and he has this look in his face, and it is so artificial that I can't even stand to watch it. I'll change the channel, and it's getting to be more and more like that. But as far as realism, I was talking to Joel Christopher Payne, who's a contact Disney artist, and he's into all sorts of advanced stuff. He said he has a beta program for a new AI for developing people. Oh. And he said he saw some examples of it, and you cannot tell, even with a trained eye, that is it real or is it Memorex type of question. And he said and Hollywood is up in arms, and the writers are getting ready to go on strike again because of they're having AI generated scripts. Get a subject matter, where, what, this is the format, it's all information put in by humans, but then the creativity is you tell the computer, okay, now assemble it so it looks like this and it acts like this and it goes from here to there. And there's some concerns that 5 years from now, movies coming out, there won't be one single live person in that movie, and you won't be able to tell the difference.
And I'll pay people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, can we use your image and we will generate you. Now, you only got to look at the latest movie of Indiana Jones, the Dial of Destiny. At the beginning of the movie, they got a younger Indiana Jones. And they literally, I mean, it has to be computer generated. But it looks real.
Yeah, that's all.
And it looks so real. I mean, you don't need actors anymore. Or they probably say, look, we'll give you $1 million to let us use your image for the next 12 months. And they can pump out as many movies as they like for $1 million. You know, I mean, and that's the way it's going to go. Especially if they're popular actors, they'll use their images on doing artificial programming. You know.
I'm sure
Well,
all the
and-
companies already own all their images and likenesses, not the individual, but the production companies.
Yeah, you usually the rights to actually star him in a movie. I mean, I think they've still got to. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, what happens if somebody decide to one of these big companies decide to do a porn movie? I mean, there's got to be clauses somewhere that these stars don't want their faces on somebody else's body. Doing pornography stuff.
See, that's a part of what I think is the next real transformative event, which is going to be I did a show 4 years ago and I called it Your Identity is Your Currency. And that's what you're talking about right now with these people that, they're famous people. They don't want their attributes, their likeness, their sound, their characteristics. They don't want any of that used without their permission. And a lot of the rights things that you're talking about being the movies, my understanding, I could be wrong, but my understanding is, yeah, Gerald, like you said, you're right. They own the image, but the originator of the image, i.e. the person, gets royalties. So that's one way to monetize, your identity. But everything like what we're doing right now is original content creation. It hasn't been there before. We're doing it now. It's us. And apparently, at a minimum, it seems logical that whatever we each say, as well as individually as well as collectively, is a part of the intellectual property that we created by doing this.
Mm.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
So in the future, your identity is going to be your currency, because what you'll have is the ability, you'll have the control over your content, which is you. And the only way that you can do that is, at least with the current way in which we have technological options, is through a blockchain, a secure record in a digital format. So, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole I could dive into for a couple of hours. But the point is that that's where it's going to go, I think. Really? What did she say? Taken out of the underground clone centers. So the clones, the drones, all the androids, the biological pieces that have been thrown together to look like somebody else. I mean, could you imagine the four of us getting cloned? What would you do if you were cloned?
That's an end of the world scenario,
Back to work to earn some money.
Speaking about,
that's a terrible thought. I mean, just to have you as cloned, Robert. I tell you, that's a sickening thought. There wouldn't be enough microphones in the world,
Well, it does give me a bit of fear and trepidation, but think about the idea of who you are, and then how do you control that identity? How do you manage it so that people don't rip it off? You get wherever it's used, and that people are making money, you get a piece too. Whatever you create that you put out there that people consume, if there's some monetized currency kind of thing that happens around it, you get yours. Because right now, all of that is scattered across hundreds of different systems that our information is on. And ergo, by location and where it is, we don't own it. We can only access it as long as we remember our password.
Okay, let's move on to another thing here now. We talk about clones, and we talk about clones and artificial intelligence. Well, no!
Hey, clones.
Speaking of clones,
Doug, I can tell you about clones.
Well,
how's it going, Doc? How's the snow up there?
It's dissipating, but we're getting probably a little more throughout the night. But how y'all doing tonight?
Doing good.
Fine.
Good,
Good
good.
to see you, Doc.
Yeah. So I had to linger in the back room and kind of listen to what was going on because I'm just got here. So, but have you guys covered the whole thing with SAG and the Writers Guild and why they went on strike was because of cloning? But I mean, kind of not physical cloning, but what made SAG want to go on strike was the studios were like, we got this great idea. It's so advanced. We're going to have you come in and work for one day, and we're going to put you in this big ball of cameras, and we're going to take pictures of you and every kind of facial expression and everything, and that's it. And we're going to pay you for that day. And then we're going to use it in any movie or production we want, and you don't get a dime.
Well, here's one for you, Doc.
That's a form of cloning, I think.
You need to crank up
Absolutely.
your volume, Doc. I can hardly hear you.
Oh, how about this?
Oh,
But
hot,
I can
mate.
I can still see your face.
Okay.
Nothing changes, eh?
Uh-oh.
Oh, nothing changes. Hey, talking about cloning, what you're talking about, Doc. I've got this. I've been making these little documentaries lately, and it's all done with AI. I just give it an idea, and it writes the story for you and gives out the videos, which I will play now just to get a bit of feedback. Only takes a couple of minutes, right? So here we go. Let's put it in the
episode of Mr.B and Friends, Truth Seekers. Is there a hidden nexus between the eerie phenomenon of abductions and the mystic realm of astral projection? Could it be a form of mind melding or telepathic projection? Today, we dive into the intriguing depths of these questions. Consider the account of Sam, a man from the Midwest who swore he was abducted one quiet night. He recalls a vivid out-of-body experience akin to astral projection during his so-called abduction. He told us, "I felt as if I were floating, detached from my physical body, yet fully aware of my surroundings. It was unlike anything I've ever experienced." Then there's Emily, a teacher from New York who practices astral projection. She shared a fascinating experience. During one of my sessions, I felt a presence as though I was not alone in the astral plane. It was a sensation I could only describe as an abduction of my spiritual self. These intriguing testimonials stoke the fire of curiosity. Could there be a connection between these two seemingly disparate phenomena? First, we must understand the fundamentals. Astral projection refers to the conscious separation of the astral body from the physical body, venturing into what is known as the astral plane. It's a form of out-of-body experience often associated with dreams and meditation. Abductions, particularly those of the alien variety, are reported experiences of being taken unwillingly by non-human entities, often accompanied by missing time or unexplained phenomena. Now, imagine the confluence of these two phenomena. Could abductions be a form of forced astral projection? Or perhaps astral projection leaves one vulnerable to abduction? Our exploration today uncovers a startling possibility that these experiences, though different in nature, might be interconnected. The out-of-body sensation described by Sam during his abduction bears striking resemblance to Emily's astral projection experiences. This suggests a possible common thread, the involvement of the mind and consciousness in ways we yet fully comprehend. In conclusion, the connection between abductions and astral projection remains shrouded in mystery. It's a tantalizing enigma that invites further exploration and understanding. While we don't have all the answers, we've certainly unearthed intriguing possibilities that challenge our perception of reality. So, as we continue our journey into the unknown, we must remain open to all possibilities. After all, the universe is full of mysteries, and we've only just begun to scratch the surface. I'm Mr. B. Thank you for joining on our quest for the truth. Hit the like and subscribe. Till next time.
well.
Yeah.
Nicely done, sir.
Very good.
I mean,
Yeah,
you've come a long way since you started. Man. I'm
yeah,
really proud of you.
but that is AI. Took me
Well-
10 minutes to knock up.
And actually, can I show what I did? It's only 2 minutes. What I did with AI's Mid Journey, creating the idea into an image, and then animating it. And this is for. Sorry, I should be talking closer. This is. I wonder if I hit a button. Maybe I did or something. How about? Oh, there we go. How about that? Is that better?
There you are.
Oh,
yeah.
mate, yeah.
better.
Hey, you got a voice just like Robert,
Yeah.
the professor now. You know.
So, anyway,
Yes, yes.
I don't know who all knows this, but I'm also working on another project that's not a film project that involves the very first wheel space station that will be built in orbit and be able to hold people comfortably like a cruise ship.
It's excellent,
And-
mate. Your sound's excellent. So,
Excellent. Okay. And so I'm in charge of all entertainment and zero gravity sports that will be going on. And we're working on a campaign to get entertainers excited about competing to be the first singer, the first dancer, first violinist, comedian, speaker, whatever, bartender, waitress, concierge. There'll be lots of firsts. And so he asked me to do kind of what you've done, where I would create the art and the conceptual art, and then bring it to life with another AI program, putting it to music. And this is what it is, just to give you an idea, because this is where we're going. This company is based out of California. This is all my artwork. So I would create a two-dimensional image, and then AI would make it three-dimensional to where it would go in or zoom out or go to the right, and it would create the rest of that image that I already made. So it'll do these things in 4 to 8 16-second clips. So like right there, it was just an image of a man standing with a guitar, and I said, I want rotating lights, I want crowds taking images and cheering, and I would have to. It never happened always on the first try, it would take several tries, but I was able to do another one, which benefited a lot, which I have to say I'm very, very proud of it. You guys know who Brooks Agnew is?
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, he's a good friend of mine, and we're actually partners in his Birth TV movie series that he was doing from his best-selling novel that has been out for over a decade. And we were presenting it to studios, and it hasn't been done yet. So how do you present to a studio a whole season of a show or a trilogy of a movie? And let me get to it here. Here we go. I hope this is it. And we don't want it to play right away. So I had to he took the story and narrated it down to 5 minutes. And he would say, I need an image of this, I need an image of that, come in at this phrase and blah, 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 blah. And it was the first time I've ever done anything like this, creating the art and then animating it and putting it to story in his narration. But I am proud to say, for those that aren't knowledgeable of this, 2 weeks ago, Amazon Prime bought the rights to Birth. So they're going to be making it into a TV series. So we are really, really pumped about it.
Congratulations.
But this is
That's
the
awesome.
video. This is the video that did it. This is what got it. How do I hit play? Here it is. Now there is some B-roll, like live footage, but anything animated that doesn't look real. That's what I mean.
Planet Earth is a living thing. It has a symbiotic relationship with the human race living here.
Okay, so this is
When
all
the more
some B-roll
part
stuff.
of
This is what I
humankind
created.
is wicked,
That,
Earth has an allergic reaction. Hurricanes,
That.
quakes, volcanoes,
That.
floods, and ice ages scatter and destroy mankind, and they begin again. When humans are good and kind, Earth releases its bounty to them, and they prosper and grow. But in the last 400 years, man grew too fast.
so you're gonna
They
see
learned
some
to
oil
sail
derricks and
and fly.
helicopters, which
They
just
discovered
blows my
vast
mind that
riches of energy
came
buried
out
in
of
the
AI,
ground
like
and
that shot
reached
right there.
far
AI.
out to the other
AI.
planets.
Nice.
AI.
Earth could not keep up with humans, and now there are 8 billion souls alive at one time on the surface. Although this consciousness signal is more powerful than anything before felt, about half the race is wicked, and half is good and kind. Earth cannot decide whether to destroy mankind or release its bounty to them.
So I had to create
Only
this,
now, at the
splitting
end of the
Earth in two.
age, it has decided to split back into its original forms. The spirit Earth and the temporal Earth are separating. The cataclysms
AI.
have begun. The higher frequency matter is dividing from the lower frequency matter. This includes humans as the grand division begins.
That's AI.
But humans are not the only sentient beings on Earth. An ancient power teaches men of war and power and knows the old Earth will one day return home across the Milky Way galaxy.
So basically, all the animation.
The American
this too,
election
by the way,
season has begun, but something goes
This was
wrong.
fun. All
The two groomed candidates end up in a fist fight on national television, and a candidate only known on the internet wins as a
It's supposed to be
writer.
Dean Cain. And then all this too, I did.
Miraculously, elected President Riker calls together an unlikely team of ordinary people to save the world. And the war is about to start between the worlds as the two planets begin phasing apart. Racing
AI.
against time and a world full of enemies,
Yeah.
the team discovers the truth about Earth. Now, they must tell everyone. The forces of darkness mean to stop them by any means necessary. Love can save a world.
That's AI, by the way. I created
Hatred
that.
can destroy
Is that all
it.
Mid-Journey?
Mid-Journey and Runway.
But
XL.
souls
This
are
is
older
all-
than
so I
worlds.
take the Mid-Journey image, which you don't always get on the first try. It can take like 20, 30
Oh,
tries
yeah.
because you can see that it's not perfect. I mean, the kid looks a little deformed, and their arms are
Yeah.
twisted or something. But it's supposed to be like a storyboard that we're presenting. But this is what AI can do. So Mid-Journey, you create it, and then you take that image and you put it into Runway XL and tell it what you want it to do, where you want the camera to pan left, right, zoom in and out, how fast. And then you can add extra description in there to add to that photo, and it brings it to life as you see in these images. And so,
Doc, may I ask, with these AI programs, are you finding that you have what they call a monthly data you can actually use, and if you use up that data, you've got to wait the next 12 month, next month?
just like everything out
That
there,
they're all like that, and you got to do
can't
the
just buy
tokens,
anything
right?
anymore. Yeah, you got on this you can buy like I put $100 down after buying the not the pro version, but the not free version. So
Yeah.
I didn't have a limitation on how many times I could do it because I was doing a lot of them.
Right.
So I bought the bigger package and then I paid for 100 credits, which on is it Midjourney or Run XL, where you can take 18 to 20 photographs of a person, okay, and put it into the program, and it will analyze it and it'll spit out like 50 images, variety images of that person. But by doing that, the AI has learned that face, and then it creates a prompt for that person's image, right? And so anytime I go back into Midjourney or Runway, or mostly, sorry, Midjourney, and I type in, I want to see this with this with this with Jet Parker. Well, it's
Right.
going to know Jet Parker's face, and it's going to keep that same image in all of the images. Whereas
Right.
without, you're never going to get the same images. If you're
Hello. Where did Doc go?
Uh-oh. And Robert.
And Robert.
Yeah, I'm still
Yeah.
here.
Yep, I know. Yep, hey, everything's working fine here. I wonder what that was. Never mind. Yeah, they'll be back. They will be back. Anyway, that was quite interesting. Doc's been doing some really nice work there.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to give him credit for that. That's for sure. And anyway, while we're waiting for them to come back, now, Jim,
What?
what's been happening with police? Any more news on that?
Well, we were supposed to have a video conference yesterday
Right.
at 2:00, and I'm trying to link in, and nothing's happening, and I'm getting a little bit concerned. Turn the thing off, turn it back on. Well, then I go check my emails. Oh, it's been postponed until
Yeah, actually, Robert was actually disappeared as well, exactly the same time.
solar flares, man. I mean, everything's shut down. I had to restart. But anyway, I was just saying that AI. Oh, sorry, you were saying something, Jim, when I walked in. Sorry.
Yeah, and he's back too. You
I
and
disappeared.
both of you two disappeared together, Robert. Robert,
There must be something out here in this high plains desert. We're getting
says followers.
plenty of weather out here, or at
Yeah.
least it's trying to.
So, but anyway, what I was, just to finish what I was saying with those examples of those videos, was that AI is an amazing tool, but it's also, it's like having a pet lion.
Yeah. That's
It's gonna,
hungry.
it's gonna bite back if you respect it. And it's unfortunately going to eliminate a lot of things. What I'm scared of seeing is, even though I feel like we're heading that way, is that we're going to become a society that's just reliant only on electronics, AI, and robots, and we'll all be living, on the government checks.
Well, it's sad. I can see why the actors and writers are striking. I mean, they're trying to protect their jobs,
Right.
and they have the right to, to feed their families. That's a fact.
Yeah.
How far does corporations? How far do we have to go to make more profit on last year's profit? I mean,
Yeah.
look, no one's short of cash. I mean, no,
There should be a cap somewhere.
yeah, exactly.
Something.
Well, to
mean-
the copyright issue that you were talking about, Terry and Doc as well. One of the things that is, and I was mentioning before you came on, Doc, that I think we're going to see a .com type of bomb in this AI space in the next year or so, because it's like you said, it's like having a pet, a baby tiger or a lion, and you go, well, it's okay right now, and yeah, it kind of scratches, it bites, it knocks things over, it creates problems and all of that. But as it grows, it becomes even more of a challenge, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that's happening right now that is one of the big issues with AI is copyright. I mean, New York Times is suing ChatGPT. All of the LLMs, which is the data that these AI systems use to interrogate and give a response to your prompt. Because I've been using Artflow. You were talking about you build the character. So I had
Yes.
to put in, 40 different shots of me and different times and all this, and then it
But once it
trained.
learns, it's got that puppet model of you, and that
Right.
can be stolen. That's another
Well,
fear, is that
yeah,
it's just another form of intel on an individual,
Yeah,
or
and
your
somebody can be
private
framed for
information.
if the government wants to crucify somebody, they can
They
frame
can
them
put
by
them anywhere at any time in any scenario live on television.
make them look like they're shooting somebody when they're actually being away in Hawaii
And,
on
and
a
they don't even,
holiday or
they don't have
something.
to
You
do
know,
that with live television. They could have an actual assassin do his job, but while it's happening, they're filming him do it, and they've masked him with someone else's face.
exactly. You got it.
And
Exactly.
people that were there will be like, they'll see the TV, they're like, oh, maybe that is what he looked like, and then boom,
Yeah, yeah.
that
They'll
that
see what
knowledge is
this
gone.
person's wearing. They'll
Yeah.
see what the person's wearing. And they'll associate that's what he looked like. And so yeah, well, it's too far away, but I recognize the clothing. Yeah, it's that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad. It's a sad
Well,
situation for
Now,
sure.
here's a way that you can avoid like cameras and stuff: is there are baseball caps and glasses you can wear that have infrared LEDs on them that you can't see, but it blinds out the cameras. So,
Yeah,
just a little
yeah.
tidbit of info there.
Well, well, that's a fact too. If you pick up your TV remote, right, and hold it in front of your cell phone, right, and look at it with a camera on the cell phone, you can actually see the red light.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually see the infrared.
And if you have your iPhone and you just set it on the table and you look at it with an infrared, with every like 10, 20 seconds, you'll see a flash from your phone because it's taking
Yeah.
photos of you, whether you like it or not.
Mm.
So
Wow.
put on a good show, folks. Give them something to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, God, moon my phone.
All they're going to do is get a picture of my ass.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Oh, no, not again, Jim. The mental thought, all that hair. Oh, terrible. Oh, it's
But
we
we need, it's going to be hard, and even people like Elon Musk say we've let Pandora out of the box, as you can't put it back in, and it is scary because isn't this the year that the Terminator started? Wasn't it 2020 something?
Yeah, pretty close.
I mean, Jesus. And now we've got Honda, and we've got one other company that's now putting full body shaped size robots on their lines. Not just on a crane, like fully mobile, autonomous.
Well, how about they were having a conference with a robot, and they're standing, and the person standing in front of the robot got his fanny, patted by the robot.
Well, here's the scary thing: we're having debates, and we're having UN type meetings with multiple AI robots from different companies, and they're having discussions. They're having serious debates on things that people are taking very seriously. And one thing that makes me wonder is, could the Antichrist not be some people like, say, King Charles and all these other, but what if AI is the Antichrist? Because it's going to control everything one day. And we're not going to be able to stop it unless we have a cabin in the woods. That personally scares me.
Yes, definitely.
Well,
When I was a kid, robots I thought would be cool, but now I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, but
well, while there's a lot of, as I was saying earlier, it's the hype, hyperbole, must, fuss, sex, and sizzle that's out there around this stuff. And while there's truth to a lot of the advanced technologies that we don't know about that have been sequestered and suppressed from the peeps, that can do phenomenal things into the wormhole and the teleportation and instant communication and all of that, I don't think they're going to roll. I don't think rolling out that massive amount of disruption would be the right way to go, or at least I would think they would think about it that way. In the meantime, we are definitely seeing a crawl and a creep into more of this technology stuff. And one of the things I always find interesting is when people get on the crypto discussion, and you've got the folks that are going, no, that's just a scam. It's a bunch of this, that, and everything else. And you hear about it and think, well, yeah, but if you're talking about electronic money, we've all been doing that for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Everything is already ones and zeros as far as cash or as far as currency is concerned. Cash in the fiat physical form is a whole nother thing, which is not unlike and the same thing as gold and silver and all the precious metals.
Which,
So you have all of these different competing things of trying to figure out what's going to stand at the end of this big bulldoze that's coming through.
Yeah.
To me, I think that the best thing we can see is a brigade of bulldozers outside of all the big metropolitan areas just coming in to mow it all down. Because it can't be fixed, but it can be replaced.
I think most scariest part of it all is the way AI is now, what's coming onto the market. It makes you wonder what the military have, because you can guarantee what we've got now is about what we have now, maybe 15 or 20 years behind what the military have. So we look at AI now, the AI technologies that's on the market just being released, makes me wonder what the military have.
Oh, not the military, DARPA. They're the ones.
Exactly.
They have the cool toys.
Yeah, but whoever.
They are advanced. I mean, the whole thing with quantum computers, they've had it for a while, and the stuff that quantum computers can do is mind blowing. For example, when COVID was going on, they had that app called Randonautica. I was actually one of the first person to have the president, vice president on here, or on my show, and I was discussing with him because the way it interacted with you without you even speaking to it. Now, this app was connected to a laser-driven quantum computer at a university in Australia, and it was, the way I described it to it, it was like a Google for the Matrix. You wanted to find something green, you'd think green, you didn't have to say it, and you hit the send button and it would give you coordinates within a mile range that you set in the settings, and it would find something that was green, a green house, a green built something, and or something purple, or if you're looking for treasure, you might find a wallet with $1 in it, and it made me think, if we are in a matrix, okay, then we're code, correct, Professor? We'd be coded
simulation, right? Yeah.
So, but wouldn't each of us in every item, Coke bottle, remote control, my mouse, everything has its own code number, like a serial number or social security number, right? So I thought, what if this program that seems to find things that people want, even the spooky stuff, like they were finding bodies in bags and stuff, what if it was like that? It was like a matrix Google. So that along, and you put that with cloning, you put that with all this other stuff with AI. I mean, geez, all I can think of is the number 42. Anybody catch that? For those, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yes.
So what's the answer to everything? 42.
42.
So, but it is scary. That's why I'm working with Gateway, so we can get the hell off this rock. We're gonna have SpaceX fly us out there, and we'll be the destination. So
is Gateway a funded project, or are they actually getting funding and building this?
We're working on getting the funding, but we have not me, but Jim. No, I'm looking at Jim now. John Blinko, the owner, president, CEO, whatever you want to call him, of Gateway. He's engineered this new device, and you can go to the website and watch the videos that explain how it works, but it looks like a steel box container on a semi or a train, and it's launched into space, and inside it has all the materials and the production facility, little mini factory, with all the plates and the ribs, and it will create the spinal truss, the skeleton structure of the ring within 24 hours, because you don't have gravity. So this stuff just spits out. It goes section by section by section by section by section until it comes all the way back around, and then they will build on that. So
is it nanotechnology?
No. It's just welding in space. You know,
Ah,
welding in space, and then we'll have robots that NASA has. They're those like the waist up robots that are hooked to the side of the, and they'll be sitting there, and there'll be guys down on the ground in goggles and
Hey,
gloves.
do you remember back in the I think it was late 80s, 90s, they had these table games. It's like table hockey, and people used to put these helmets on or these electrodes on the head, and they play this game through thought using
Oh.
alpha waves.
Dude,
Right?
dude,
Hey,
dude.
right.
Hold
right.
on one second.
Oh.
Hold on.
he's
hold
got
on.
one.
Okay.
Wait till he comes back before I finish it. Oh dear.
So no, I didn't get to use those. I remember the clackers. You
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is that
got to clack it.
imagine.
That's what we got.
Okay, so let me finish what I'm saying first.
Yes,
Doc.
yes.
Okay. Back in the 80s, they had this. It just looks like a pool table, and it was like these little flat discs, like a hockey disc on it, and it slides, really slides. And you had these little arms, and you can actually shoot by using your thoughts and block it. You go left, right, and you can aim towards it just through thoughts. Now this is back in the 80s. Now, what makes me, if they had a game like that back then, where has the technology gone now?
Oh yeah.
I mean, when we talk about consciousness, the thought, I mean, I'm sure we must have gone leaps and bounds since 1980 to present day. You know what I mean? But you don't hear about it. You don't hear about it, though, anymore. So they're probably using them in aircrafts, Jim. These new spy planes and everything else, where the pilot just sits there and thinks it. You know what I
In
mean?
their helmets, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's been in science fiction for a long, long time, where you could, where it's thought control.
Well,
So,
that's
Doc, what do
say.
you got there, Doc? What do you got
What
there?
have you got there? Come on.
The ultimate head-to-head battle. It's your game, the mind control. You control the airflow and the ball floating around. There's a variety of things, but you and a partner put on these headbands and you just think, and the things happen on the board.
Nice.
Like physical objects.
Now, that's
Have
a
you
toy
tried it yet?
today.
Yeah, it's called Mindflex, and it came out in 2010, and I got this at Goodwill a few days ago.
Okay, if they had
For $9.
So now, logically, what has the government got behind their locked doors now, right? That is so being finely tuned and a lot of money thrown, so millions or billions thrown into it, makes you wonder what they have now. And it's probably, we couldn't start to imagine. It would probably be what they call weird science and friggin' magic, basically.
I mean,
Well, Jim, your buddy had something to say about that.
Yeah. I mean, which one? My friend
Rich.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim doesn't have any. Jim's got no mates. What are you on about?
I mean, like Ben Rich said, we have the ability to take ET home. This was in 93, I think, is when he said that at UCLA. That's 30 years ago. Anything we see today and we go, wow, that is something else. It's probably 20-year-old technology.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that's amazing is how much information you can cram into a device. I was in the data storage business from the beginning. We went from 14-inch floppies to 8-inch floppies to 5.25-inch floppies to 3.5-inch diskettes. Then it went
Don't forget the 80-column Fortran cards.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
it actually started on tape decks too.
Yeah, and then it went to CDs and CD-ROM, and then DVD, then DVD-ROM,
discs.
and laser disc, and now I have to find it. You can go to Best Buy and you see this little micro SD card.
Mm-hmm.
You can get one with a terabyte of information on it. 100 billion bits of information. I mean, I can remember we were supplying magnetic heads to IBM. This was in the late 70s. And they were hoping to have 300 300 DPI amount of information, on a disk, on a floppy or whatever, and it just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And I find it absolutely mind blowing that you can go to Best Buy and get a 1 terabyte. I think they're still quite pricey, but the fact that you can get it, and if you and I can go to Best Buy or go to Target or go to Walmart, you get something like that. What in the hell are they doing behind the black curtains?
Right.
And that's what's spooky. At the Lockheed Skunk Works there at Air Force Plant 42 in Palmdale, they just built, in conjunction with Boeing, a 285,000 square foot think tank, I think is basically what it is. And I couldn't get any information from Jeff more than that, but he said this is going to be absolutely mind-boggling. What will eventually come out of there.
Well, as I would say, just watch this, guys. It only lasts for about maybe 10 seconds.
Yep.
Being used for weapons of mass destruction instead of helping society. It's sad to think that the military-industrial complex doesn't care about the health and well-being of people. Terence Beckwith, also known as Mr.B, asks the question, why?
Exactly.
They
Why?
don't give a shit. They really don't.
don't.
They could care less.
Exactly. And that's my question. Why? I mean, everybody's like in this race for mass destruction. I mean, they're building these hypersonic missiles. They're saying they're difficult to shoot down. It's like, what's the rush to annihilation? I mean, it's like that they're running to a time schedule. We're going to learn to kill you faster and more efficiently. I mean, forget about feeding the poor and healing the sick.
Well,
and they'd spend more on one ballistic missile that could probably eliminate most of the starvation, a lot of the problems for people living on the street. Be honest, what I mean.
I think if we just start paying attention to our local communities and our own country and stop worrying about everybody else, I think we need to worry about ourselves first right now, because
nothing wrong with having a big army and a good defense system. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't need to have bases in every country around the world. People got to learn to look after themselves. Stop spending money in other countries and start looking after your own people. Now, you've got your allies. You stick together. You've got your groups. You don't need to occupy other countries and let other people occupy themselves. Let them destroy themselves if they have to. It's none of our business. As long as they leave us alone, and we've got the technology to defend ourselves. That's all that matters. Now, you don't need an arsenal of over 1,000 nuclear weapons. You don't need that.
We believe that. It's the ones that sell it that don't.
But what scares me most of all is when you get the people like in Iran who will suicide themselves for a cause, right? And they will turn around and say, well, if you attack us or if you don't do what we do, we're going to take everybody with us, all for the sake of Allah. You know what I mean? They could bore a friggin' hole down deep into the planet. I'm just saying, they can put a hydrogen bomb down there at such a depth. If they detonate it and blow up their own country, to take the rest of the planet with them, literally. Because they don't care, because they honestly believe they're going to get 16 virgins and everything's going to be bloody wonderful for them.
Yeah, but they're goats.
They're fanatics. That's the trouble with people, with these fanatics, though. They will take everybody with them. So it's a no-win situation. So I just say, leave them to their own, because in time, the people will overcome. Because eventually, like in Iran and other countries where people are treated like crap, eventually the people will have enough. They will. There's no ifs or buts about it.
I think we're in the beginnings of the rise of the pissed off peeps.
Yep.
And we're seeing it on a global scale.
But we're seeing
It's
it
happening.
everywhere. But it
The
is. It's happening
awakening.
in
The
other countries.
awakening.
But here in America, we're all
What's that,
just
Doc?
being,
Yeah.
we're being pussies over here. Everywhere
That's
else
right.
is standing up. The French, God, they're taking cement blocks and concreting a wall around the politicians' homes so they can't get out. They're dumping manure and stuff from the farmers.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, all
Yeah.
the farmers.
Oh, yeah.
We don't hear anything unless it's on TikTok and all this stuff. And then even when the truck thing was supposed to happen, it didn't. But it happened in Australia. It happened in other places. It happened in Canada. And it's like I hear all this about America's got to stand up and all this stuff, and it's why can't we're so afraid because our government's got a thumb on us going, we got cameras everywhere, we got narcs everywhere, we got undercover everywhere.
Well,
you can't do anything
we
without us
do,
knowing.
but Doc, I think what we're seeing
Sorry, I'm
is
blowing right off that.
no, you're right. You're right on.
You're right.
I think one of the things we're seeing is, as I was saying, we're at the beginning of the rise of the pissed off peeps. And that is a global population of people that have just fucking had enough. And we're seeing it all over the place in little pockets, and it's starting to mushroom, and it's going to continue to grow, in my opinion. But to your point, Doc, about, we're a bunch of pussies up here, the emasculation
In
of
comparison,
men.
Yes.
The emasculation of the masculine at the behest of the feminine has been extremely effective. We have more pussies running around in testosterone-based meat sacks than we've ever had in the history in my lifetime. Okay, and this is the point where the warning label comes out. If you want to get canceled, stay tuned. I am just like you. In fact, I went on a rant about
People
this
wonder why I haven't
yesterday.
been around.
Okay, I said, look, I've had enough of all of this. There's the victimizer and the victims, and whoever's deciding those categories and classes gets to put whoever they want in them, and then there's a seal and a this castle and moat put around that thou shalt not enter unless you have been given the passage by the virtual fact that you are saying what we want you to say. You are thinking what we want you to think. All of that pressure that has happened has just caused even the normies, the people that are the sleeple, not the sheep, but the sleeple. There is a common sense that is innate within our meat sacks and our consciousness. And the bullshit filters have come out, and they're all pegging to the red. And you don't have to be dialed into shit to just look at the stuff that you're being told is the answer for whatever the hell it is, and have questions and go, how the hell did you get to that answer? I want to see the questions you started with and the data you started with to get to that answer, because that answer makes no sense. And it's across literally everything: media, government, the financial system, technology. We're seeing it everywhere. But what's happening, and back to your point you made a minute ago, Doc, which I think I totally agree with, it's got to start from within. It's got to start at the place where, in your little group, in your society.
Start at home.
Hey, here's guys.
home.
Hey,
You're right.
What about Tucker Carlton when he was in Russia, right? When Tucker was in Russia, he when he interviewed what's his name?
Putin.
Carlson. Putin.
Yeah,
Putin.
Yeah,
Putin.
Now, then he took you to the subways and the streets. There was no bums in the streets. There was no garbage on the streets. And when they went down to the subway, it was like a work of art. There was no scribbling on the walls, no nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't take me wrong. I don't follow politics or anything, but
You sure talk about it a lot.
Right, but someday, but only the things that piss me off. But let's face it, we get a bad rap about Russia all the time. Yeah, what they're doing is probably not right. But then again, I don't know the full depth of the politics of it all. But what I have noticed is that they don't have the same problems which New York has in their capital city.
The thing is that the lying rat bastards of the lamestream media aren't going to show us the stuff that works. I mean, the only reason we know what's happening in Europe with the farmers is because it's on the internet. It's on the alternate media
that they want to get rid of.
Yeah. And now,
and if you notice how effective that has been, you just look at the we had the Me Too and the cancel culture, and then we had that other shit, the Occupy whatever.
Wall
We had all
Street,
these different little attempts at trying to get people to think a certain way and hurt them over there, throw a bunch of emotion into it so they can get all worked up and feel like and none of them are thinking about what they're doing. But BLM, all this stuff, you notice how they came and they went, because in my opinion, the reason that you can see why they came, they were clearly orchestrated and manipulated groups
Soros, he
and
paid a
people,
lot of
right?
them. They even went on. They went even protest against him for not paying them.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but you notice how they all just fell apart. They fell apart because they were a manifestation that somebody thought that they could manipulate to their agenda and their desires, but they didn't think it through. If you look at everything that and this particularly happens, and this is another cancel moment, particularly with the people that have the ideology of the progressive liberal left kind of thing.
The communists.
If you look at the content in that container and you look at the common characteristics, there's some very simple things. There's a lot of really pissed off women and a lot of weak men. There's a lot of people that are just, the men don't want to stand up to the women because the women have beat them into submission. Now, in another ideological viewpoint,
Speak for yourself.
you have, are you with me, Doc?
I'm just watching Mr. B. He's like over there.
On the other side, you have more of this, more of a masculine balance. In fact, what I think I'm seeing across the interweb and all these different platforms and the places where social discourse is occurring, there seems to be this phenomenon that kind of like what you can kind of call an internet dad. There's the dad motif that seems to be showing up. You have people like Jordan Peterson. Musk is even in that category. All of the people that have
Joe
been
Rogan.
canceled. Yeah, Joe Rogan. All the people that have been canceled and told that thou shalt not listen to them because they are fools spreading manure.
They become disciples.
All of those people left where they were, and they are now doing 10 times better than they were before. What does that tell you? It tells me that the data that we were given about how to characterize these people was nefarious at best and probably full of bullshit at worst, which it was. So now you have these people that are speaking their minds and they're saying things from their perspective. They are the internet dads, and we got some internet moms popping up all over the place too. Yeah. And my point is that the mom and the dad in the traditional sense and the way our society has thought about them, dad was he took care of shit and he got things done. He was there to defend. Mom took care of, made sure everybody was taken care of and, got fed and was educated and all those things. Those traditional ideologies are just kind of actually innate in our biology. And the rise of the pissed off peep is coming because I think those natural innate characteristics are getting triggered. And they're getting triggered because of the tsunami of the bullshit that we've been it's been a day-to-day deluge of crap. People have been changing definitions of words, putting them into new ideologies and new groupthink.
Or
and
you can't use that word. How dare you use that word?
Exactly. So I think part of what we're seeing is there's a common sense component to our innate consciousness that is being kicked off because it's being poked at too much. And now you were finally starting to see, I think, the rise of that. What was it Jimi Hendrix said? When the power of love overcomes the love of power, there will be peace.
Wise.
And I think we're starting to see that. Not that any of us love one another here, but I think we do.
Now, I don't know about you, but I look forward to my Saturday nights. It's not that I go to the local pub and chasing broads and getting drunk and stupid.
Just stay home and bloody get stoned instead.
I'm with the Social Security crowd.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for my member card.
Hey, Doc, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you got an award here recently, didn't you?
Oh, I have won actually several awards over the past year for this music video I did with Sir Ultim from Kool and the Gang. And I was at the Idlewild Film Festival last weekend. It was up for Best Music Video, Best Song in a Music Video, and Best music video director. And I didn't get the director, unfortunately, but we did win for best song. This is a certificate. We'll get like an actual cool award for it. But we got that at the Idlewild Film Festival this past weekend. And here's a cool
Nice.
thing. One of the judges, the judge actually, that did the picking of the music and nominated me and everything. Roger Taylor from Queen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was so stoked about that. So, yeah, he wasn't there. I got all dressed up, and then they were like, no, he's on tour. He just did the judging on his iPad. I'm like, so, but it's still
That damn
freaking cool
technology again.
yeah, it's still cool in my book, though. You know, he saw my little video I did with Earl.
That's very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and then the screenplays for Fly, The Rise of Jet Parker, Dancing with Gravity, and then my third one, which is getting judged this year, Orbital Control. And because of the thing with Brooks, Amazon is now looking at Fly possibly, and we just submitted to Sony and Warner Brothers. So fingers crossed.
Nice.
And here's the cool thing. I can't tell you because he's not officially attached yet, but we've got a director. And he's done over 150 major, huge blockbuster action movies. Die Hard, Underworld, The Expendables.
So if you go and look at the producers on that, you'll find out who the bloody hell he is, won't you?
No, I was thinking maybe I should stop. I shouldn't stop saying all the movies. They'll narrow it down. But he's actually been like a mentor for the past 5 years, and it was an accident that we met, and
No, it was your destiny.
It was just like when we met, totally.
Absolutely.
You know, friends for life.
And the only reason I'm here today is because of Doc.
Yep.
I ran into him in March of 19.
It was
March of 19. It was a MUFON thing, and I knew my friend Michael Schratt was going to be there, so I decided to drive up from Tucson. And Doorbell was having his Lazar movie
in the room next door.
Yeah, so the place was empty, and I walked in, and the first guy there was Doc, and I
Sitting
sat
alone
down
in a little booth area, and every other booth is
Are we
empty
talking
in the
about?
room.
Are we talking about George Knapp's bum wiper? Oh, is that who we're talking about?
Yeah.
No, Doorbell.
Yeah.
We're talking about Doorbell.
Yeah. George Knapp's
but
bum wiper.
His movie just come out, so everybody was over there, smooching over there, and I was like, I'll stay and watch the booth, and I was like, literally, it felt like I was all by myself, and then here comes this distinguished gentleman, walks up, and he goes,
and then I came in later. But,
but yeah, he was like, so what's this booth about? And I was like, oh, it's a friend's podcast thing. I'm just watching it. And then he said Jim Goodall, and it's something clicked. Like I knew the name, and I said, Jim Goodall. He goes, yeah. I'm friends with Bob Lazar. I was like, sit down and tell me a story. We've been friends ever since.
And it was
got started.
and it was instant. I mean, I even drove 3 hours north from
Up a mountain.
Oro Valley up to Sholo to help him move.
Yeah.
Hey,
It was him and my
because
other friend Cheryl. That was
Doc,
it. That's how great
and
he is.
because of you, Doc, I met Jim, and ever since, thanks, mate, because ever since I've met Jim, he's been calling me an arsehole, dirty old man, and I forget all the names you call me, but we're good mates.
And because of that, I met Robert.
There you go.
Yeah. And he's another dirty old man.
Yeah, of course I haven't gone. I just haven't gone to Gerald to visit with you. But
Gerald, I'm a bit worried about Gerald though. They say it's the quiet ones.
The ones you have to watch out for.
Yeah.
Those are the mass
Yeah, the
murderers.
quiet ones.
I was going to tell you earlier in your little conversation about the lack of testosterone. If you guys would ever venture out of the big cities and come down here in the farmland, you'll see some manly mans that'll take care of business if they have to.
Right?
Nice.
Well, come up and visit me on the mountain. Yeah, we've got we have
I
elk.
bet you. Hey, I bet you Jane can tell some stories now. I tell you that now. Yeah.
And if need arises, if we get the brothers together with the hillbillies, you got a real problem on your hand.
The
Yeah.
cousins,
Yes.
brothers.
What you have a U-ha? A U-ha they call it, is it? Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. Well, whatever it is. Yeah. Well, we don't have that kind of lingo here in Australia. Yeah. Bit of a Rickapooty and a Fandoogly, I reckon.
One thing that we haven't been mentioned, as far as words and whatever. Trudeau up in Canada.
Justin Castro, yeah.
Castro's
They
kid.
they just passed some legislation that if you said something on the internet or it's recorded somehow and it gets back to the Nazis, you could get life imprisonment.
Yeah.
Well, I better start picking out my outfit.
No, I mean, but I have.
I'm going in.
What is orange your favorite color?
Well, I'm in every prison movie. You see my name on the back of everybody.
Oh,
DOC.
no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you were a sheriff. You were a sheriff with the Cousin movie.
Oh no, but I mean the Department of Corrections, DOC, on the back of the prison.
Oh,
outfit.
right. Okay,
I'm in every
okay.
prison movie.
So, Doc, before you came on, I had tossed a question out to the other distinguished gents, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this.
All right.
The question was, have you noticed an increase or decrease of information that you are presented with that you've got to sort through, where it's increasingly questionable whether what you're seeing is real?
Okay, that has a couple answers. First, right off, that is one of the key elements why I have disappeared. I was getting tired. I mean, I've been doing it for 8-9 years, something like that, and some of the recent original guys out there, and right before COVID, everybody started getting a camera and a YouTube page, and everybody was giving their opinion. And when I was still doing my show until, whenever I finished 8 months ago or something like that. And I just felt like everything that we had already covered for years was just being chewed up and regurgitated and spit back out to the public as new stuff. And it was getting irritating because people were coming to me, go, "Oh my God, have you heard about this?" I was like, "Yeah, watch episode so-and-so of my show and you'll know," from like 3 years ago. And it finally felt like it was getting to a point to where there wasn't new information coming out. It felt stagnant, like there was no growth. We weren't going to the next grade level. It was like we were stuck. And everybody was just being repetitive and regurgitating and just opinionated. That's all it became. And I felt like I had put in my time. I had helped others get into this, field, like Jim and Mr.B helping, when he was going to get in show started and everything. Because I felt like I've done all I can do. And there's so many young bucks out there. I didn't want to be a part of the cog in that machine anymore. And I'll tell you, this is the first podcast that I've seen, watched, been a part of in 6 months. I don't watch the news. All I do is I work on my movie Fly, my trilogy, getting all the people together, and I binge watch Supernatural, which I saved for like 10 years before I started watching it, which has made a big impact on my life. It's actually was a big influence for part 3 of my film. So I give a little nod in the dialogue to Knappy, I can't say his name now, the guy that came up with the show. And the other is Curse on Oak Island. Which, if you have not seen that show, holy crap.
Which one is it?
The Curse on Oak Island on the History Channel. The guys that bought Oak Island up by
Mhm.
Saskatchewan.
Isn't there supposed to be a treasure on that island or something?
Yeah,
It's
they've been looking
multiple
for it.
treasures involving
Yes.
the Knights
Yes.
Templar, pirates, the church, the Queen, not Queen
So,
Victoria.
so
but
Doc, I got to ask because I've been a binge watcher of that
Yeah.
too.
Let's
One of my
talk about it.
favorite things, aside from the intrigue, and they stretch it out because they're doing it for a series and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I've enjoyed the most is all the tech they're throwing at that thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
All the
bringing in all of the big boy toys, this all kinds of telemetry, which I watch it for that.
Yeah, and there's some great stuff, and now that they're in their 11th season, is just mind blowing, and they keep finding stuff. Now, of course, first few seasons, it's you're pulling teeth, but the thing that drives me nuts, like you say, they stretch this shit out. They will finally, it's been like 4 seasons, then they finally get all the big Tonka toys, the big bulldozers, and I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do some digging. And they will
That's
go
right.
out there and they will dig 2 feet, 20 yards across, 2 feet, and they'll find one little thing like, that's good. I think we should go check and make sure this is legit and take it to the university and let's go to the war room. No, motherfuckers, keep digging. There's more stuff in there. I don't want to wait till next week to find another penny. You got
I hear you.
So they kept doing that. It drove my roommate drove him nuts. He was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Can we go back to Supernatural?
The thing that
So,
bothers
yeah.
me about
But
that
the
show
thing-
is that they'll be drilling down the biggest tunnel or pipe they could for the money pit, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's go over here and dig on this plantation plot.
Yeah, it's like they
no,
give up
stay
too
right
quick.
there. I want to see what's there at the money pit.
Yeah, they're always saying we won't quit. You keep quitting. You keep moving to other sections of the island. Stop. But,
That's-
it
that is
does.
what-
It does
yeah.
get better.
That's
What?
what we're going to do, hopefully, with
Yes.
Belize and the
Yes.
pyramids.
Talk about
I mean,
it.
they're digging down a hole that they think there may be or hope there may be some treasure. It's in writing from the government of Belize. We are the sole organization group that can do excavation or anything on the 5 pyramid complex at Ka. And we're starting with structures that at a minimum are 2,000 years old, but they're speculating that they're between 20,000 years old and 200,000 years old, and that the Mayans found them abandoned and repurposed it for themselves.
Makes the most sense to me.
And
I mean, you look at that stuff and you go, isn't this where all of these civilizations kind of sprung from? I mean, we've got stuff from Mesoamerica that you can find over there in the Middle East, all
or
over
in, or
Iraq.
in
I mean,
Southeast Asia. You go to
yeah, same.
yeah.
So
Philippines,
I
yeah.
kind of think that my little thing, and I'll let you get back to it. But I think when they start uncovering the stuff that you've been doing down there in Belize, and they go through all of Central America, down into the Amazon and just to South America as well, it's going to completely rewrite history. I think they're going to go, well, yeah, these Egyptians were cool and they were old, but they weren't as cool and old as these guys. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I think it was kind of a dispersal, actually, potentially from Central America around the world, as opposed to from the Middle East and out. But that's just my speculation. But go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, but we have 305 acres. That's gonna be our playground. We're dealing with some high-powered people in the movie industry in LA. We've had like 3 or 4 meetings with them, Zoom meetings. We were supposed to talk with the money guy, who really, I mean, they're excited. People who've been given sort of an overview of what we want to do are really, really excited, because this doesn't normally fall in, some production company's lap. And one of the key people that we've been told has access to money or has money. This is what he lives and breathes for. So we're going to meet. We have a meeting with him on the group on Monday, and I may know by Monday evening that, holy shit, we got it, and we can start. I mean, the villagers are saying, well, we need to move forward on this. I said, yeah, but we only got the official okay from the government of Belize 2 weeks ago. And everything else was a hope and a promise. Now it's in writing. It can always be reneged, but highly unlikely. So we have this opportunity. People are really sort of chomping on the bit. Everybody that's heard about it within a fairly closed community of directors, producers, videographers, all the talent you need to do something that far exceeds what you're going to see on Netflix. It's going to be, hopefully they're going to shoot for movie quality, but for a production run of season one would be we already have 12 segments already filled in as far as what the subject matter is going to be. So this could be the most fun thing. I mean, Scrounging of Blackford was one thing. This is something about 3 levels up above.
Nice.
What type of equipment are they hoping to get down there for the excavation? I mean radar penetration.
Well, what toys are you going to bring?
Tom Elmore.
What toys? Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's going to be the movie type's going to bring the real toys, but there's Tom Elmore has a company that he does LiDAR, ground-based LiDAR, and he's part of our group. So normally he would charge $50,000 for that. We're going to do it because he's part of the group. But there's a company, I think they're out of Peru, that has a very high definition LiDAR that they use in a drone. And for X number of dollars, and I can't remember what the number was, but it wasn't outrageous. They would do a scan of 300 square miles. And
wow. I was going to suggest there's a company, and they were on Oak Island, where they use satellite to look at the island, and they could tell where certain minerals like gems and gold.
We did that.
Oh, you already did that
last year. That's
okay.
When we went to Belize, we had absolutely nothing to do with the pyramids. We were on some private land, 7,000 acres, and the owner is a friend of Jared Murphy, and he said, "Do you think you could identify anomalies from commercial satellite using different kind of filters?" So he said, "Hey, challenge accepted." And sure shooting, we identified like 16 targets, and they actually went to 11 of them, and they were either shell mounds or they were Mayan rubble, not necessarily structures, but a rubble pile. It may have been a garbage dump, but was garbage to those people back 2,000 years ago. That's the gold. That's the gold chalice right there. I mean, it's just it's getting potentially really exciting, and because you're trying to get so many busy people, under the same umbrella, things keep getting moved around as far as when we can make the next step. First of all, we were supposed to talk to the money guy, one of the money people, on Thursday. Then it was moved to Friday. And at the very last minute, they've changed it now to Monday. So, but it's moving forward. We've already, our group has already bought or purchased, I think 12 goats for the village. Because one thing about what jungles do, you can go and strip all the vegetation down. And if you don't have a way to keep that vegetation in check, it's going to be just like it was before you cleared it the first time. So they put the goats up in an area, and they move them around the pyramid, and they use that to keep it clean. And said eventually they want to have a herd of about 40 to 60. And what that also would do, every family would have the ones they take care of, but they'll get goat milk and goat cheese, which is you can sell, and it's a barter. It's a subsistence type of an existence, but a lot of bartering between villages, and it can be this is could be really great all the way around, and it's going to be fun, and the people are just so. When you don't have anything, the one thing you can give is friendship or kindness. But they all carry machetes, so maybe that's good.
Actually, it's strange to say that because most of these third world countries, people that don't have anything are the most warmest people you can come across. I mean, you go to Thailand and places. I mean, people don't have anything there. Most of the people, but yet they've always got a smile on the face and they make you feel welcome. It's even when I went to the Philippines, my wife used to complain that I go walking around the streets by myself. But mate, I met people living out of cardboard boxes, and no joke, they'll invite you to sit down. They'll literally give you a can of Coke, and they've got nothing, and they're living in cardboard boxes on the pavement, and all they're doing is just playing cards on a little child's plastic table. They just kind of. Money does not buy you happiness. It makes life easier, but the true happiness is in the giving and friendship, and that's basically what it's all about. It's not about what you can get, and you find this in most of the Asian countries are like that. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Just have to say my little bit there.
Plus, they have great food.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of like going. I remember when I first went to. It was actually Singapore. I was there on business, and our buildings were right on there's a main highway and then the ocean right there. And this was back in 93, 94, and it was just super modern. But I was staying at the 5-star Westin, which has, I think, 93 floors or 94. And the top is this rotating lounge kind of thing. So I was staying there doing my business, enjoying Singapore, and I said, I need to take a walk around town. Went behind it's literally a facade almost of just these ultra modern buildings and new construction and all that stuff. And you walk across the street behind it, and there's the folks out there with their little carts. They're making up cooking something right there, and you can buy it from them. They had all kinds of, lots of noodles, lots of meat, little shish kebab kind of things. And that's how those people made their living, was selling to the people that were in the big buildings right across the street. And it was completely different at that point. It was like walking into two different worlds. And some of the best food too. Some of it I looked at and I'm not sure I want some of that, because I'm not sure what's in that big pot you're stirring there. But that is the same thing in South Africa. When I was in Joburg, we were working downtown, and that whole shanty town, which I think most of us have seen images of, it's literally like you were saying, with cardboard boxes and people, pieces of sheet metal.
District 9
created a living space.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you now, Singapore, I mean, I love Singapore. You could walk around that town, you will not see bubble gum on the pavement, spit on the pavement. People don't do that stuff there,
You're arrested for it.
And it's clean. It's so clean. And as you said, the noodles there, oh mate, they're to die for. Singapore.
Oh my God, they're incredible.
Oh,
but I just as an odd segue, because you guys made me think of it, I was talking with a friend of mine about the whole shutdown that we went through 4 years ago now. I think we just hit the 4-year anniversary when the official dictate came down to stay home and load up with toilet paper and stay in your room until you're told to come out. And one of the things, about 2 months after that first the lockdown happened, I was living up in Durango, and I said, okay, well, I've had enough of this lockdown shit, and I'm not masking anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to go brave it. I'm going to see just how accurate this crap that we've been told is. So I'm going to go rub my face in it and see if I get sick. Never had it, never had any shots. None of that stuff was going down. But when I went into Durango 2 months later, after the shutdown, I was like, I've never seen this place this clean. Everybody had wiped everything down. There was hardly anybody around. It was nice and quiet. And I thought, well, this can't be that bad. I mean, it's probably, kind of a nice thing. And then a few months later, I came to the realization of another positive thing of the lockdown was the awareness of personal hygiene. People were told that they needed to, keep surfaces clean, keep themselves clean. And by the way, since you haven't thought about cleaning yourself, you should do that too. So there was these two things. Stuff got cleaned up, and people were more aware of their hygiene, or their taking care and cleaning themselves, at least, because everything else is getting cleaned. You might as well clean yourself too. So I saw that as kind of a positive that came out of what was clearly a much bigger ruse and problem.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
Nobody wants to take that, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Chickens, all of you.
Well, I actually have to say I do. I've got to go. We had 3 little puppies this morning, so I got to go.
I saw the
check on them.
pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, and my
Great.
my stepdad's
Hey, Doc,
here, and so I don't.
Thank you for joining us, mate.
Thank
And
you.
don't leave it too long, because we're just a group of guys that get together, friends. We're not into too much of this sci-fi stuff. We just speak what's going around at the moment, and we just chew the fat, as they say. So, hey, mate, don't be a stranger, eh?
All right. Well, you guys
You
have
have a good
great
one,
night.
Doc.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll talk
thanks.
to you all later.
Thanks,
When-
Doc.
Hey, thanks for coming in there, buddy.
When the snow stops, so there's no chance of snow or freezing, I'll drive up.
Cool. Yeah. We'll set up a date.
Okay.
It's all right. You
All
all
right.
take care.
Take care.
Catch you later, Doc.
See you, Doc. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one, mate.
He's the reason I'm here.
Yeah.
He was the catalyst that started it all.
Yeah. He started the old group off, really, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, me with you, then Robert, and then Gerald, and everybody else. So it just escalated like a snowball running down a mountain.
See what happens. See what happens when you lower your standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you end up with me.
You find friends.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I had the absolute delight. I had a AIAA talk in Palmdale, actually in Lancaster, near Edwards Air Force Base, and I sent a text off to Heidi Pop, who I knew lived near Santa Clarita, and I said, "You want to meet for lunch or something on Sunday when I'm heading back?" So I met her in downtown Newhall, and she is so much more gorgeous in person than she is on the tube.
Mm-hmm.
And she just radiates just positive vibes. I mean, it was a very, very delightful. They finally threw us out of the restaurant because it was Sunday. And we got there fairly early, but then the lunch crowd or the after, church hypocrite crowd would come in. So, but it was just a lot of fun, and she is a real sweetheart. And I met her on this program.
Yep, and lovely lady too at that, mate.
Yeah,
Lovely lady to boot. Yeah. I like having the ladies on. You know what I mean? Because they're, it teaches you guys to calm your language down. No, that's just good, because just as a diversity, it just mixes it up. You get a woman's view and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Their views are just as important as us male chauvinist pigs. So I'm speaking about myself there. You know that, don't you? I'm a male chauvinist pig. Yeah.
You're definitely
That's what my wife calls me. I'm a pig. Okay. Oh dear. And so forth, and the plot thickens. Anyway, so yeah, so what you got planned this week there, Gerald?
Tomorrow we got our Piercing the Veil show at 6 p.m. Central. And we got Neoma Finn, and we're going to be talking about the Bridgewater Triangle, and we're going to get into some of the other triangles that are around the world and some of the stories.
Nice.
Excellent.
Sounds like fun.
And what about you, Robert?
I am in the middle of just serious content creation mode. So I'm working on some of the stuff Doc was talking about. I've been doing as well. So I'm going to be working on that and working on my technology business. I got some ideas and some people that want to talk about that. So I'm going to go sort those out.
When are you actually starting your next first interview on your new?
The interviews for the new show should start next week.
Right.
And I'm going to basically, I'm going to look at a once a week.
Let everybody know what's the name of your show again. Nexus Netcast, is it?
Nexus Nextcast, yeah. And it's on, you can go to nexusnextcast.com for all of the links to all of the platforms and all of the show information.
Right.
So,
and
looking forward to that.
Okay. And Jim,
Yeah.
where can everybody find your new book, mate?
Yeah, I have 29 books in print, which just still blows me away. I mean, I absolutely hated writing in school. And I ended up authoring 29 books. But my books, if you go to probably the best place is to go to Amazon and type in books by James C. Goodall. And you'll see my hardbound books. Not all my books are in print anymore, but at least 15 or 18 of them still are. But all my hardbound books, my B2 book, my Blackbird book, my 75 Years of the Skunk Works, my Nautilus to Columbia class, which is I cover all 227 nuclear-powered submarines built or under construction for the United States Navy. And then I cover a book on the Los Angeles class and Know Our Adversaries, then the Seawood, Virginia class, and Bayview, Idaho. And I'm waiting to get on an SSGN Ohio class boat to finish that, the final section of my volume 3, which will be on the Ohio boats. So that and sort of winding up to see what's going to happen in Belize. This is going to be an absolutely fun year. In about 11 days, I turned 79, and I told Jared of the Belize crew, I want to have my 80th birthday on the top of Pyramid G, which is the one that no one has touched. And that's the one we, Jared and Tom Elmore climbed to the top. I made it about 3/4 the way up. And it was raining and I'm slipping and sliding. I have no sense of balance. But when they were up at the top, they said, it doesn't appear there has been any modern pillaging or whatever. There's nothing knocked over. I mean, everything's pretty much intact, fully covered with overburden and growth.
Well, that shows some promising then, doesn't it? Well, this week I'm gonna be focusing on myself. I've been down a bit lately, but I got myself a yoga mat, and I've got my exercise machines, and so
you got to put that. You got to make some videos of that.
And you have us.
Oh yes, true. And you know, I might even think of tried doing a show midweek too. You know what I mean? Just to throw the spanner in the works, just to break the routine a bit.
Well, do a live stream on that yoga mat. I think you'll get all.
Yeah, right. Watch the beach whale there on this bloody. Oh yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah. Everybody will see my. Hey, well, why not? You know, I can show progress. Yeah, look at that fat bastard there. I look like the fat bastard out of what's it? That Scotsman that said, I'm so sexy. Who's that out of? Oh God, what's it called? That movie? Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but I think it's a rare one because you don't see Scots going around saying that all the time.
No, No,
Hey,
it's
Oh, you're talking about Austin Powers.
yeah, Austin Powers. That's the one.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the big man. I'm so sexy.
Get in my belly.
Yeah. Well, that'd be me, mate.
Well,
I'll be
you
honest.
can always use your AI video and do a before and after using AI. So
Yeah,
you're good
to slim me
either
down
way.
a bit. You won't have- yeah, but I'm focusing on myself there, and I mean, who knows? Well, if I want to live a long life, I've got to get myself fit, eh? So, yes, see, I've got this, those wheels you exercise with and do stretch and you suspend yourself out. Well, I've got this new one that's out. You actually put your arms on it, and you got a handle, and you go out, and you can actually stretch yourself out like that above the ground. So it's like you're doing a push up, and you can feel it all tightening around your abs and everything, and the abs and your lower back. You feel it all tightening up. It's quite a good exercise.
Sounds like
machine.
something you'd find in a Philippine adult store.
No, in his, in his garage.
Hey, excuse me for a sec. Excuse me, Jim. Hey, but a professor.
Hmm.
You seem to know a lot about these Filipino adult stores. I mean,
Well,
now, come on. I mean, come on. You seem to know about it.
if it's anything like
started this,
if it's anything like the Shibuya district south of Tokyo, downtown,
oh, you've been there too, have you?
I was shocked and
Oh,
elevated in my awareness of weirdness when I went down there. I mean, that place was crazy. All kinds of stuff that I don't even want to try to remember, let alone share.
Personally, I don't think it'd be any crazier than Bangkok.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked when I first went to Amsterdam and I saw the red light district. I went, "What? You guys can do that out here on the street? Out here? Wow!"
Yeah. Hey, you ever been to the restaurants in Amsterdam where they actually got magic mushrooms on the actual menu?
Oh yeah, I had an office there for 7 years.
You go into a bar. When you go into a bar, you got all your booze, all your bottles of scotch, and all these different drinks. And above, you got your jars of what type of smoke.
Oh yeah, we called them the green rooms. Yeah.
And I was actually when I was in Holland. Oh, this would have been back in 1969, right? I went there on holiday, and I couldn't get over that the traffic cops standing there smoking a shit on duty. I couldn't get over it. Everybody's on. I was mind boggled.
And they're one of the most.
The U.S. are smoking and doing coke and everything else while they're on duty too. Might not be legal, but they're still doing it.
Yeah, but it's legal over there. But what we're talking about, we're not talking about cocaine or heroin or anything. Nothing like that. It's just that the police were smoking their weed while they were on duty, and nobody cared. Nobody cared.
That's how it is.
I went for a walk. Somebody says, we've got these beautiful restaurants. They're on barges. So okay, a friend of mine took me down to this particular restaurant. It was a beautiful restaurant, beautiful food, but I couldn't get over on the way there. They got these shop windows with girls in them. I couldn't get over it. What? What's all this? Oh, you got restaurants and you got takeaway. I couldn't get over it, honestly. But that was an experience. That was an experience, I did like Holland.
My first trip was to when I left. My first trip outside of the United States was to Vienna, and this was in 90 or 91. And so back then it's still there, but it was called the City Club. And the City Club is this giant pyramid, like a glass pyramid as a part of the hotel. And inside that pyramid, they had this meandering waterway with all these different levels and little waterfall things and bars and places where people could play and all that stuff. And my flight was 9 hours delayed. So when I finally got there, I was just wiped. I check in. I'm at the Mozart bar in this giant atrium, just gorgeous hotel. And I said, okay, I got my key, and I'm walking to get to the elevator, and I look over on the wall, and it says massage and sauna, and it's just great big on the wall. And I said, well, I'm going to dump my shit in my room, and I'm going to go get me some of that. So I put my stuff away. I got my robe on, headed there, and I went to the door. I opened the door, and 2 naked guys go by, followed by 2 naked women. And I stuck my head in, and I said, did I open the right door? What am I going into? And it was the entrance to the co-ed nude pool. So I had no idea it was there, but I said, well, I got to investigate this. Walked through the locker area, then walked out to this great big indoor pool with this huge bar and about 50 or 60 naked people just laying on lounge chairs, swimming in the water. And I'm standing there, and I'm the only one with clothes on. Right. And so it was my first liberating experience of being naked with a whole bunch of people. Because I went up and I got a stiff drink. I said, I got to get a little buzz on before I drop this towel. So it's finally dropped it. I'm walking around with a whole bunch of other naked people I didn't know from Adam or Eve. And it was amazing. Liberating.
It's amazing how different cultures, how people live in that. Because you go to Sweden, they have TV commercials with naked women in it and naked men. And we're saying full Monty, mate. I mean, they're not covering anything up. It's all they're exposed. And they're TV commercials that from selling earphones, iPads, or whatever. You know, they're all naked, you know. And they've got what they call the naked news, where people go on and bloody read the
naked news was one of my favorites years ago. I used to enjoy watching that. That was fun.
Bloody hell.
Because they're telling you stuff while they're taking their clothes off, and you're trying to remember what the hell are they talking about.
Yeah, but then you say, well, I don't give a shit. So
well, it's all what they call good news week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, what I'm just saying, it just shows you how different and diverse different cultures are. And it's our mindset. It's like our society tells us about this. I mean, with their political correctness and, you know, except agenda, we won't go down that road, but you know what I'm talking about. What we really do, we're going into the awakening now, mate. I mean, there is an awakening happening. And I think people now, like ourselves, are now speaking up saying, you know, it's sick. It's wrong. It's bloody wrong, you know, and enough is enough. Mine's like in that movie. I've fed up. I've had enough. I don't want to take any more. And that's how it's going now. People are really starting to, look, it's not about Joe Biden or whoever. It's not about that. It's about it's the way media itself. But they're the ones that are pushing this narrative by promoting it, by
manipulating it and giving it, putting the information or disinformation or propaganda.
Yes,
you know, to the correct audience.
Yeah, and people should be saying enough of this shit, you know? I mean, they're lying about, hey, yeah, here's this nice toothpaste. Don't worry about it. You know, it's toxic. Or a drink that's got herbal. And they're trying to make, you know, candy bars saying look healthy, you know, because it's got oatmeal in it. You know, I mean, come on, you know? Yeah. And they're poisoning society. They're with everything, you know? And anything that is healthy, it's 3 times more expensive, and there's less. Let's put it this way: you create something like a cereal, for example, right? They've got the cereal will have added sugar and everything else in it, coloring, flavoring, everything, right? And that sells cheap. Now, remember, everything that goes into this cereal is cost effective, cost of money to create it. But anything that's organic, that comes out with nothing added as it is, probably just ground down to be edible, is 3 or 4 times more expensive than stuff that's got sugar, salt, and everything else in it, artificial flavoring and coloring. I mean, hello, shouldn't it be the other way around? Being less work on the organic, or less work on the actual natural stuff. Why should it be more expensive?
It actually is the other way around, that we're just that reality is, sequestered. It's pushed to the side because there's no reason why even people and it would still be a bit of a stretch, but even in a cardboard box, you can grow your own sustenance. Now you need the things to do that, but let's take it to, Joe Sixpack, Joe and Jane Sixpack. I mean, all of us right now have a place that we live in that there's more than enough room to grow a substantial part of our own food.
To a degree, to a degree. If you live in a city and you only got a small apartment,
well,
you'd be very, and
but you can still, like, growing alfalfa sprouts is one of the easiest and most nutritious
what they call window herbs and
It
shit
works
like
well
that.
if you're a cow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's the thing is, if you want a cow, and I got to, to all my vegan friends out there, I eat plant-based meat, and so I think I kind of qualify and fit in
Her
because
name was Bessie.
the cows eat the plants, and I eat the cows. So I'm thinking that's about the most original plant-based meat you can get. And what is it with these vegans always trying to make everything taste like meat or look like meat? Who are they fooling?
But
they doing it for themselves.
There's a small town in Australia, so don't ask me where. I think it was somewhere around Melbourne area. A population of about 15,000 people in a small town, and people started on the council strip outside their home started doing vegetable gardens. One neighbour would be doing cauliflower, another one would be doing garlics, another one would be doing potatoes, another one would be doing carrots, and everybody's doing it. And on all the meantime, off the council strip, they're putting fruit trees. So you had your apples, because it gets cold in Victoria, so the apples are good. They need cold weather to be nice and tight. And then in the warm areas, they even put, for the seasonal ones, they put oranges and things. So people can walk along and say, okay, I'm going to take some off your tree, and I'll take some of your veggies, and they leave it. They look like a barter system. And apparently the supermarkets complained. They complained. So the people in the town stood up against them, and the council says, no, we're for the people.
There's a lot of communities, though, they're outlawing gardens like that, though, that you can't grow in your front yard or your backyard gardens anymore. They're trying to regulate it.
Well, one of the things that somebody was saying, but what happens if somebody comes along and laced some of this food, like an orange on your tree, stuck a needle in it, and it's toxic poison in it, and you wouldn't know? You go and pick an orange or something off a tree. But
that's already in our grocery stores and our vegetables. So what are you talking about?
That's right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But I see nothing wrong with bartering system. If you're growing meat, if you want to grow out the front, but I say if you put it out the front, people can help themselves. Yeah. There's no need for homeless people to be hungry or anything like that. Always find something to eat. But well, hey guys, you do realize the time? It's 13 minutes after the hour, being on over 2 hours. It's been a really wonderful show. I think we might call it quits.
But actually, we had a 1 hour preview before we.
We did too. We did too. We did too. And you blame me for that because of maybe it's because I sent the links out too early for you guys.
No, it's because you didn't use that thing called a computer that has a thing called a browser that has a place where you can ask a question like, "What time is it over there? Have they changed anything yet?" Because, that's how we use it to keep up with you. We got no idea what time it is over there.
Hold on.
Nor do we really until we get a link.
What do you think I'm using at the moment? It's a bloody computer. Okay. Hey, everybody. They're giving me a friggin' hard time. Oh, they always give me a bloody hard time.
Yeah, but we love you.
I know that. But I think it's time to call it quits anyhow. And I really, really want to thank everybody for joining us today. And we still got a decent number up of people. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming and saying hello to us and watching us and giving your remarks. Much appreciated. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to Mr. B's Truth Seekers. I'm not really chasing the numbers, but hey, I like to make sure you guys get the notification when I'm on, so don't want you to miss anything.
And chances are you'll see all four of us next
Yeah.
Saturday.
And occasionally we have different people joining us, and as usual, and sometimes we're a bit more cheeky than others, and sometimes actually today's we've been very tame today when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Very tame today.
I tried to
What?
keep the cancel conversation to a minimum, so
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see if we're back next week. Then they missed it.
yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. And always remember, aspire to inspire one another. Be good, be kind, and just love one another, eh?
You take care,
So,
my friends.
Be
And all
good,
of you out
everybody.
there. All of you
Bye-bye
out
now.
there. Robert,
Yeah.
Gerald, you be healthy. Stay healthy. I'll see you.
Bye-bye now.
I'll see you again soon. Adios.